now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Hello and a pleasant good evening to Bristol, Tennessee for the race that everyone was looking forward to. Bristol Dirt. This is going to be a fun one. Some drivers are ready for it. Some, well, they're wishing that the dirt was removed. But hey, we got a lot of racing fun to happen tonight in the Full Throttle Real Sim Racing Cup Series. I am Dylan Coyle, joined alongside Terry Radford. Terry, this is going to be a ton of fun. Hey, you and I, 2 nights in a row doing some of this. How about that?
I'm so disappointed in you. We had such...
Okay, fine. It is the Doha Dirt Race with Qatar Airways Flight 740. Don't look that up because there is a very special person on that flight.
So disappointed. I really thought we were going to say good evening, race fans, and welcome to Evan's flight out there. But
hello to everybody watching on that flight right now.
I would imagine. I kind of curious if Evan just stood up on his chair and said, "By the way, you don't know how important I am. I am the voice of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series." Which got a new sponsor in Wendy's this weekend with the
That is
piggy
true.
bag. It's the sponsor Countdown to Green. They got E-Racer. It's on the car. So they're gonna put that on the car. It's a big time. But I really am curious if Evan does just jump up and say, "Hey, you guys know who I am. I'm a legend."
You know, I think everybody in the Real Sim Racing fold knows who Evan Pasoko is.
I don't know if they know who he is on that plane, though.
I think we need to be louder. Anyway, it is... My goodness, this is going to go off the rails really quickly, not because it's Bristol Dirt and slippery. We are in race number 7 of 30 on the season. Of course, it's a little bit behind right now where the real-life NASCAR Cup Series calendar is, and that's because we kind of skipped a week when it came to running in Martinsville. Of course, I think there was a charity sim racing session going on there. That's why we weren't able to race there. The facility was being used, but Bristol Dirt, and then we go to another track that brings a lot of fear to drivers' hearts and a lot of hope to others. Terry, Talladega. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing these 2 races and the juxtaposition of what they are in the series calendar.
Well, a lot of people are going home today. I think we're sending 7 people home. So if they don't make the show here at Bristol Dirt, they have to make Talladega and have to be just fine. We'll take a look at the points. You got Michael Johnson right there at 16th. Points really don't matter this early. I'll say it again, like I said it in the last race that I was on here for. All the way down to David Galb and tied for 24th. If he wins here this afternoon, he's locked in up here. We only got 5 different winners, and I'm not too sure if Andrew Freenot.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
Count,
yeah.
But we have 4 winners that are guaranteed a spot as long as they stay inside the top 30 in points. But anybody on this list can win today. Anybody on this list can win next week. So we take a look right here at Sean Casto in the 52. I don't think he likes the dirt too much.
You know, he is the winner from last time out right here in the 62, or 52, excuse me. But I will say this. The one time I raced Bristol Dirt and RSR, I got that 10-point consolation for not making the show. We should talk about the format for tonight's event with just over 2 minutes to go in qualifying. 4 heats, 20 laps each. The top 5 go to the feature. And then after that, we've got a last chance showdown. 5 will go into the feature from there. 25 cars will race 150 laps on the dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. And 10% off, more like off track.
Wish I could get 10% for going off track. I'd be a rich man. I don't think I'd ever pay another dime. I'm almost positive if I raced Bristol Dirt, I would never make a lap. We take a look right here at the 4 on track at the moment. That would be the number 4 of Matthew Mara. He's going to ride the outside, try to get on the cushion, keep that right rear in there. He's having a hard time getting on the throttle and actually keeping the throttle held. Be curious to see where he's able to set when he puts his time down. Looks like right there, he's struggling big time.
Well, it is not the easiest thing to keep that traction going as he gets into the wall. I think that's also going to just take away the lap time, probably a 1x there as he gets way up into the cushion. We should talk a little bit about dirt terminology here with 48 seconds left. The cushion is right up against the wall, and Matthew Martin goes for a slide. We see the 51 right here going for some final laps. That's Tom Wetmore. The cushion right up against the wall. It's where you can kind of get tight. If you want to ride way up high, you want to get your right rear tire on that cushion because it kind of tightens you around if you're driving a loose car. Sometimes if you want to run down low, it's the slowest part of the track. It's also the shortest part of the track. You see this track sort of getting some rubber laid down on it. That's where the grippier part of the track, just like a normal asphalt track as well. Wow, look at that. Looks like Doc Hudson from Cars. Turning right to go left. And maybe a little bit too left right there. But that is the end of qualifying. And we're about to go into the first heat, Terry.
Yeah, first heat. And I think if memory serves me right, we're going to grate the track to a certain percentage, and then it'll keep resetting until we get to the race. We'll look at the starting lineup here as Cody Harris and Brett Pancari. They're going to be your top 2. Andrew Freenige on a part-time schedule, 4-time champ. Tom Wetmore, Ross Cato, Sam Nieto. Out here in Heat 1. Going back here to 7th place with Grant Davis, Michael Johnson, Fetter Place, Alexander Light, Bradley Burke, Newen Flores, Richard Wolfsire, Casto, Woodruff, and Tucker in your first heat here this afternoon. And top 5 advance. So you got to finish 5th or higher to get here. Everybody else below that's going to the last chance qualifier.
So looks like we went from 4 heats to now 2 heats. So
I like it.
Yes, we'll have to. We're thinking it's going to be the top 10 now. Of course, we'll get more official confirmation, but what would probably make the most sense is with 16 competitors in each heat, the top 10. And we're hearing it from Race Control right now. Wow. So what we're hearing is that the top 5 from each heat will advance, and 15 from the last chance showdown will advance. So
that's aggressive.
That's really aggressive for that last chance showdown. I can't wait to see that.
Well, I mean, now it just makes me want to skip the heats. Hell with this. Just
say top 25.
Give Ross Cato and up the spot. Go to Heat 2. Give that top 5 the spot, and then all of them in the LCQ. Let's see what we can. Let's see what we can figure out there. I mean, I want to see all those drivers fighting to get to the 15th position. I mean, 2 heats means that the sense of urgency kind of is there, but kind of isn't. Because if you finish 6th here, you're P1 for heat or for the LCQ. So you don't necessarily want to be too crazy. And speaking of crazy, there's old Bagel Boy himself over on
Hey, Russ! Oh, man, I love coming back to some RSR racing in the broadcast booth. Evan Pasoko, of course, going to South Africa. And
he's blessing the rain.
He's yes, he is. He down in Africa for sure. And We're going to go green next time by for this 20-lap Heat 1 session. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Terry, I'm not sure if you said it on air yet, but congratulations. I don't know how early it was, but we see in the YouTube chat a congrats goes to you. Want to tell everyone what that's about?
Well, my wife's pregnant. I'm not too sure how. But yeah, she got having a baby. I mean, I'm eating a Star Crunch, so I was pretty. I thought it was saying congratulations on the Star Crunch.
Hey, listen, congrats to that too. We love that. We love that. Well, congrats, Terry. It's going to be a lot of fun. Both in your life. Both in your life, pretty soon. I'm not praising your kid. Green flag is out on Heat number 1. We are underway, and a bad jump from Cody Harris and Brett Pancari. Immediately, Andrew Farinas and Tom Wetmore right in the thick of it. 3 wide for second, and they all managed to get it through, and Farinas slides right back up. He's going to go to the top.
Yeah, Brett Pancari wouldn't be the one that you necessarily jump out and say, "Oh, yeah, that's a dirt racer," but he's got some good dirt experience behind him. And Andrew Farinas is good no matter where you put him. Cody Harris is going to hang up there on that outside, try to take the highest line around here. Farinas is going to jump to the bottom, can't get it to stick. But then you got Sam Nieto. He's pulled away on Grant Davis a little bit for that transfer spot. Has about 0.6 of a second going to separate them. And what a perfect place to run the old Smoky Moonshine scheme is right here in Bristol, Tennessee.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I picked myself up one of those not too long ago. I think it was a punch of some sort, but I'll have to let you know when I do decide to acquire my taste to it. But nonetheless, a little bit of info here. There are no cautions in these heats or in the last chance showdown, meaning calamity. Meaning calamity could happen. I was trying to find the right word that would really stress the craziness that could unfold. Right now, the top 5 fairly secure. Grant Davis, the first one out. Grant will be at Talladega Super Speedway this weekend for all of the real-world NASCAR events. Terry, I hear you're going to be there too.
Potentially. It's all going to depend on if it will piss me off or not, but they might not. I mean, if people could just be chill for the rest of the week, I might go. But
fair enough.
Hopefully Grant Davis is there and we'll sit next to each other. I know I got a text from a buddy of mine that he's going to be calling one of the races out there. We'll go hang out and maybe partake a sip or two of the old Smoky Moonshine. But Nieto's doing a good job. He doesn't need to get too aggressive here, sitting there in that 5th place position. He's got a good gap to Grant Davis. I think he can just kind of just roll out here, not thinking nothing crazy. It's 7 laps into this heat. Grant Davis is going higher than anybody else has went. That 24 is all the way up against the wall.
Watch this. Watch this.
Watch him. He's going to sail it in there. He's not going to do it over here. He's going to roll just a little bit of the center, but when he gets to 3 and 4, he's been taking a more untraditional line where he'll just slide up in the center. He'll go all the way up to the wall here in just a second, but then he changes his line. We catch him doing it, but Cato behind him's doing it now.
The important thing that we're seeing right here is specifically with Grant is he's not really letting it over rotate. That's the biggest thing that drivers mess up at on dirt tracks. They let it over rotate, and that means that they're going to have to deal with potentially sliding and spinning. If you just let the car kind of settle itself into the corner, that's all you need to do. Is Grant got way up high. I think he got his front rear quarter panel, or excuse me, rear quarter panel. I can't speak. Oh no, he gets into another driver right there. That was Sam Nieto, who is currently in 5th, and Davis is going to lose a spot. That's not going to bode well halfway through, and now he's just sanding it in there. Hey, might as well.
These next-gen cars are really durable. Even a guy like me can race during the next-gen car and kind of abuse it a little bit. You saw it in the real world when the track. By the way, hats off to the people at Bristol for the way they handled the racetrack, and for iRacing for an amazing scan. I mean, to put the dirt on here and for it to transition the way that it does, I'm not saying this because iRacing probably would smack the mess out of me if I said nothing bad about it, but they did a really good job of scanning it over and putting the dirt onto Bristol. It changes like the real race did. It allows for multi-groove racing. You can catch the wall. It's not putting a whole lot of damage to the right side of the cars. You can really fishtail up there on that outside and put that right rear quarter panel on the wall and let it transition its way around. But right now, Sam Nieto, he's doing what he needs to do. He's just kind of he's being in the way. He's doing. Yeah, he just knows what he's doing. He's just sitting there riding in fifth. He's like, you know what? Let them battle behind me. I got 7 laps to go to decide if I'm going into the main show.
Grant's got to run though.
24. Yeah, he's just going to let the 24 sail it in there. He keeps catching the wall,
which is not really hurting his momentum. I think Davis over-rotated a little bit too much there. He's going to lose some momentum down the backstretch. Yeah, Sam Nieto doing a great job of just making that car as wide as possible as Davis sends it in again. He is doing everything he can, but that's just not enough with 4 or 5 laps to go, excuse me. Just 2.5 miles before the end of heat number 1. Grant Davis, the first driver on the outside looking in. The good thing for him, though, is, again, the top 15 make it out of the last chance showdown. Brett Punkari, Tom Wetmore, Cody Harris, Andrew Farinas, pretty comfortable top 4. Right now, it's a matter of Sam Nieto having to deal with some traffic as a lot more body contact happening. Grant Davis gets blocked by Steve Tucker a lap down. Tucker gets into the wall. Davis has to go underneath him. We're coming to 3 laps to go here, and Davis has got to really send a slider in at one point.
Yeah, if you're a lap down car, I mean, I know it's dirt and it's kind of hard to move out of the way, but move out of the way. Right. You don't necessarily need to be up there as Nieto catches the wall, but he gets the car turned. He's rolling it. Oh, jumps the cushion there.
Yeah, but he has some momentum. It's just he's not cutting down low enough as we're coming. We're with 2 laps to go. He might get passed right here by Ross Cato in that red and black number 12 machine.
I'm not going to be surprised right here if the 24 Davis just sends that thing in there. Oh, Brett Punkari.
That could have been dangerous.
Yeah, he's having a hard time.
Davis is right there, by the way. Grant Davis is right there as Brett Punkari is rounding the rest of this circuit. He's going to get in the he's going to start first in the main show tonight. Sam Nieto just has 2 more corners to go, and he slides.
Cody Harris is spinning.
Oh, Cody Harris is spinning. This could be a photo finish. Is Grant Davis in? Yes. Grant Davis just...
Yeah.
Yes! Grant Davis just barely gets in. Cody Harris with a mistake in the last corner loses out on the transfer by 0.3. Grant Davis says, thank you very much. And just like that, oh man.
All that work that Grant Davis just did to put himself in that position paid off. I mean, he's going to finish 5th. 6th on back's going to the LCQ, so we're not, they're not going home yet. There's still more racing to go for a lot of them, but all that work that he did staying right there ahead of Ross Cato put him in that position that Cody Harris had the issue with the 51 trying to slide it in there to get the position. It just slides.
Look at that lap time.
Yeah. That's Brett Punkari might be the one to watch here.
He definitely might be with a 19.5 lap time, and of course, it's the Get Wet Esports starting grid, Terry.
Yeah, you got William Smith, Jaron Winemaster, David Kolb, Agnel Phillip, Ryan Dunkelberger, Michael Araya will round out top 6. Eric Stanford, Nick Alford, Thomas George, Greg Skull, Carl Pooler, Andrew Phipps is 12th. 13th through 16th is Joseph Tice, Eric Papanow, Steve Durham, and Matthew Mara.
That's the Get Wet Sports starting grid.
What Evan's doing right now.
Sitting in a plane.
Yeah, but I wonder if he's like if they're serving. He says he's in economy.
He did say, but it is a long haul flight, you know.
Yeah, but they give snack. So, like, I want to know what kind of snacks did he potentially get or meal. Because, like, every time I'm there, I ride cheap. So I ride in, like, the back of the plane.
Anytime you're there in South Africa?
Well, I'm not going to Africa. Unless Toto's there, I'm not going.
We're half a lap away from going green. We've got some funny chats from the production crew. Love that. By the way, the qualifying time, the fastest qualifier was a 27.9 by Cody Harris. But because of how quickly, as we get green, go underway in Heat 2, because of how quickly this track in the dirt just shapes its way into a faster state, I mean, you could tell how much faster these lap times are going to continue to get as we've got some 3-4 wide action going on in the mid-pack. It's only the top 5 that matter here.
Yeah, and a lot of these drivers back here that's fighting this. Somebody wanted Carl Pooler. He's trying to slip it 3 wide. Eric Papinal's trying to go underneath Joseph Tice here. The 25, that's Andrew Phipps. He works under Pooler. He gets that position for just a second. I mean, we got a lot of action that's happening back here about 9th on back. Not really affecting what the top 5's doing at the moment. We'll see if David Kalb can keep that position up there just as steady as he's going to look under Ryan Dunkelberger and try to get himself up there as Michael Lariah is the first car out.
Yeah, Michael Lariah, the first one out. Lariah, of course, had an incredible rookie year in this Full Throttle RealSimRacing Cup Series. Unfortunately, it just didn't end the way he wanted to. Nonetheless, RSR Full Throttle Cup, it's always a fun time to see Lariah sliding it around there. Jaron Weinmaster currently has a small advantage over William Schmidt. Schmidt started first in this heat number 2. We're currently watching the 15 machine of Nick Alford battling right now. That is very reminiscent, that 15 font, very reminiscent of RWR Empire.
Well, we just found out he got served Mexican beef and baked potato with red wine to drink. It's probably the
Please don't tell me he put that on the chat. Oh my goodness, yeah. He did. Evan, we hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I think that's the fanciest I've ever seen on a plane. So I want to go
in economy.
He's on. Yeah, in economy as well. I'm used to getting served like the little baked chickens with a Coke. And I mean, I'm surprised he's not drinking a Coke because I mean, he is the voice of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series.
Terry. Heat 1 winner. Brett Pincari. He's chilling. He's having a good time in that HP Reverb G2 VR headset.
My guy's just relaxing. He's just sitting over there, and he's like, you know what? I don't even care what you guys do.
It almost looks like he's in a store with a bunch of albums behind him, but we got a battle all over. We've got some battling going on here. Battling for the lead, battling for 4th, side by side. Bit of contact.
He slammed him. Dunkelberger's getting dunked on, son. David Kalb selling that thing in there. I mean, I don't know why the 99's fighting so hard. They have a second on Michael Lariah. I know this is going to set your starting position, but what's the point? There's no sense in it. You're going to make it. If you're faster than him in the race, you have 150 laps to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, no! Weinmaster spun by William Schmidt.
See, that makes no sense.
No cautions either.
No.
Wow. That is a big problem.
He couldn't pull the Michael McDowell in 360 it and keep going. We'll take a look here at the replay as Smith's going to go up here and just turn him. Agnell Phillip is actually going to take this race lead over William Smith. So he had no net gain in this. He's still second. That didn't change anything but the transfer spot as Michael Lariah. He's going to slide into that. And Agnell Phillip pulled a tune of a 1.3 second lead over Smith. So I don't know if it was incidental contact, but just I would think racing too hard. You're already locked into the show. You're not going anywhere.
Nick Alford is going into pit lane. Wonder what is going on with that car. I almost feel like it's I don't know why you would go down into pit lane. Yeah, well, okay. I still don't know why you would go down pit lane when there's going to be no cautions. Might as well just try and pick up spots by cars kind of slowing down as Agnell Phillip gets way into the wall. We're watching the battle between Joseph Tice and Carl Pooler. Oh, and they slide, and the 5 gets hit. The 71 just fishtailing all over. I think we're going to see a lot of that. And Puller gets hit.
Upped.
Oh, that's a huge hit into the wall, and this is going to be a bit of trouble. He gets off track. That could have been trouble for Agnell Phillip. We go on board with Phillip in the 94 car, and he was racing onto the scene pretty quickly. Good job to get out of there by Carl Puller. The Puller is going to have a lot of front-end damage, a lot of engine issues there. 6 laps to go in heat race numero dos. William Schmidt down 1 second, called a half-second back, and then a further second is Dunkelberger. Michael Lariah is 2 seconds off of that battle, but he is also 2 seconds in front of Gregory Schall. So Lariah is sitting pretty in P5.
Yeah, once again, when you're in these heat races and you're sitting in the transfer spots, there's really no sense in getting aggressive in overdriving it. I mean, you're locked in. If you know you got people behind you that's not catching you, why push it? I mean, you can ride where you're at. I know it's not going to be the greatest starting position, but you're going to start inside the top 10 for the main. You're not going to have to race the LCQ. Now, some of the faster drivers, like Cody Harris, like Winemaster, they're going to have to now start the LCQ. And for Winemaster, he's going to start 6th. Like, he's the 3rd car out, so he's going to go all the way to the 6th place position. He's going to have to work. I know the top 15 get in there, but when you're in that 6th place, you're in a little bit of a danger zone where you're not necessarily going to be able to go make a whole lot of moves without like 4 or 5 people trying to dive bomb it in there on you.
Speaking of the danger zone, we kind of saw some really fast racing from Gregory Schall. He cut it down to around a second behind Michael Lariah for that final transfer position. But as we get to this final lap, I think 1 second over the course of a 20-second lap is just too little too late. Agnell Phillip is rounding at turns number 3 and 4. David Cobb gave him a battle, as did William Schmidt, but Agnell Phillip will hold on for the win in heat race number 2. And we do know the top 10 starters in this race. I believe on the inside row for the 150-lap race, we're going to see Punkari, Wetmore, Farinas, Nieto, and Davis. And on the outside row, we're going to see Phillip, Kolb, Schmidt, Dunkelberger, and Lariah. The remaining, the remaining 8 rows, I'd like to say 7.5 rows, are going to go to the Constellation, the Last Chance Showdown Racing. 20 laps, 15 make it through. We're going to have a lot of battling to watch. We see the results here. Agnell Phillip obviously got that win. Got really close and uncomfortable. David Cobb was coming close. William Schmidt also was flying, and something happened to Gregory Schall at the end there because he was within a second of Lariah and then dropped 5 seconds back. Starting grid, Cody Harris, Gregory Schall, Ross Cato, Jaron Winemaster, and Michael Johnson, your top 5. Thomas George will round out row number 3 with Brandon Fitterplace, Andrew Phipps, Sean Caisto, Eric Stanford, your top 10. Richard Wolsifer and Carl Puller, your top 12. 6 rows, Richard Woodruff, Matt Mara, Ewan Flores, Nick Alford, Steve Tucker, Joey Tice, Alexander Light, Eric Papineau, and Bradley Burke with Steve Durham, the New York driver, rounding out the field.
15 drivers in, and this is it's not necessarily going to be as weird as it's not going to be as weird as you think it would be. But if you're looking at drivers back there, you saw how aggressive they were in the heats. How aggressive are they going to be now? Because this is going to set 11th on to 25. So
I think we're going to see the fast car be Cody Harris by far.
I don't know. I think Jaron Winemaster in the 9 might be a little bit faster when it comes to the track state it is.
I mean, that's fair. They're the only 2 drivers in this Last Chance Showdown race that have qualifying times in the 20-second range. Everybody else, 21 and 22-second range. Some going back to 23 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the 9 of Winemaster might be the one that we look at here that could potentially start P11. I mean, we know that 11 through 25 is there, but it would be curious where the guys from Newton Flores all the way down to Steve Durham put as the green flags in the air.
Green flag in the air. We're going to know the 25 car field in just around 6 or 7 minutes. Remember, no cautions in this last chance showdown. Cody Harris out in the lead, but Ross Kadar, Jaron Weinmaster, like you were saying, is quickly up into second, fighting with Cody Harris for the lead of the consolation race.
Yeah, I think if you're Weinmaster, you just threw away your chance. Same with Cody Harris. You both threw away your opportunity in last-ditch efforts to get a position. Do you throw it all the way here just to say you won the LCQ? As Carl Pooler's around back here in the back, that's going to put him 21st. Bradley Burke's 22nd. We'll kind of sweep them under the rug. They're not going to make it in the show. Light is on the spot now. So the number 8 machine of Alexander Light is the one that's transferred in at the moment. He's got a battle going on behind him. That would be, now Tice moves up there. So it'll be the 5 of Joseph Tice and this little group fighting each other here with Steve. Is that Steve Durham?
Steve Durham. That would be an awesome story if Durham is able to get into this field. He was very excited for the race. He goes down low underneath Joey Tice. Oh, and they make contact. Tice just thrown into the wall by Durham, and he might get another bit of contact. Wow, just beating up on Joey Tice right now is exactly what's happening.
I think it might be because he has Valvoline on his car. I mean, it's really... Oh, Light just threw the 27 in the corner.
Oh, Tice is still getting hit up into the wall. If I'm Joey Tice,
he's pissed.
Oh no! Another driver gets involved here.
Well, that just put Tice to 21st.
Yeah,
that's Bradley Burke. He's 20th. He's about to get lapped here. He's got a lot of damage up there in the front.
Yeah, he does. He's almost crab walking.
Yeah, this is poor Tice. Tice got hit by everybody on this racetrack.
That was the equivalent of racing. That was the equivalent of racing in Mario Kart, and then a blue shell and a red shell, and then just for kicks, a green shell.
Star.
Oh yeah, and then the star. You know,
star.
Bullet
and
bill.
Hit you at lightning.
You know, and then the splatter across the screen. The Joey Tice story here.
Then you get all the way to the Rainbow Road. You get the last lap on the hardest moment.
You know,
slide off the racetrack.
It's not necessarily over because he just needs to gain 5 spots. And if there's more calamity, he could potentially do it. That's what the top 15, that's why it's so important. Right now, in 15th is Steve Tucker. Alexander Light right behind. I mean, that's what's really important about this. We see and hear another spin. The 39 car with Michael Johnson we were just watching. And they're rucking on the front stretch. So this is just chaos. We're going to have a lot of caution laps. Still drivers sitting on the front stretch. Couldn't quite see them there. Next session is going to have a lot less, wear on the track, and it's going to be a lot slower to start off with than we've seen in these heats. And this is pretty wild as Weinmaster almost squeezed a driver down low into that pit road opening. Cody Harris in second. We didn't really mention that, but yeah, Weinmaster in the lead over Cody Harris, but gets way into the wall. Gregory Shaw. This is a great top 3 battle for the win here, and then Shaw gets hit by Cody Harris. Harris gets into the wall, and that's allowing Weinmaster to just skedaddle out of here.
I've lost track.
And Tyson, the 6, and everyone is spinning and sliding. Oh my goodness, what is this last chance showdown?
There's so much going on around this track. It's hard to keep track of what's happening. Now
I feel bad for our producer Joshua Lee.
Well, now I fully understand why Fox was calling stuff out, not showing it, because there's so much going on here at all times.
Look at that, just riding the driver up into the wall. Everyone's riding against the wall.
You've got Steve Tucker. He was riding the wall all the way up. And you remember when you said that
Joey Tice?
You remember when Tice had an opportunity to get in this field?
17th.
He's right there. He's 16th. He just passed Steve Tucker.
Okay. He's right there.
He just needs Woodruff to get in a wreck and go a lap
Anyone.
Anybody.
Hey, listen, if Joey Tice makes it after everything he's gone through in this race, that would be quite impressive. And Woodruff got really loose, almost went into pit lane. Tice is still, though, half a lap behind him.
All he needs is for somebody inside top 15 to wreck. I mean, Woodruff just went a lap down. He just needs Woodruff
still
or
half a lap difference.
Anybody to wreck. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, a half a lap. You trying to get straight back on dirt. That's like trying to tell a kid to pass up a sucker. Like, hey,
one wrecking.
Give me your sucker.
Hey, listen, we got a wreck in 3 and 4, and can't quite see who that was, but that could lead. That was Steve Tucker. So look how much time he's lost.
Our top 50.
No, not going to affect the top 15. Joey Tice is doing all he can. Woodruff is getting passed by, I think that's Cody Harris. Yes, that is. There's so much going on here.
He has a chance. He has a chance. If Carl Pooler, there's the 25. That's Andrew Phipps. Oh, there's the spot. If it happens, Gregory Skulls right new. He's got the Hilton.
Look at that! Look at that!
There's Tice if he go, but he's got to go a lap down. We got to get a lap down here for Woodruff for somebody to get past. One to go.
Oh goodness! Not much to separate most of these drivers on the lead lap, except carnage.
There's a lot of carnage.
Woodruff is about to cross the line and be the 15th man in. Jaron Weinmaster wins the last chance showdown. Richard Woodruff is the last driver to make the show, and the first one out is Joey Tice.
Damn.
Steve Durham is the second driver out. Steve Tucker, Eric Papineau, Bradley Burke, Matthew Mara, and Neuen Flores. They are all out of the race. We look at the results, Terry.
Yeah, got Jaron Weinmaster pulling out the win. Cody Harris, Casto, Brandon Fetter Place, Ross Cato, Mike Johnson, Gregory Schall, Nick Alford, Eric Stanford, Alex Light. Your top 10. Your remaining 5 that make it into the feature here. Let's switch here. There we go. Phipps, George, Wolfsire, Pooler, and Woodruff. Everybody down there, 16th on back. Sorry, you didn't make it. You got a whammy.
So, we got a 5-minute warm-up session, and then we have a 150-lap feature with cautions enabled. Now, I want to hear your prediction. The top 25 drivers in this field of 32. Do you feel like the cautions will be in abundance during this race?
Define abundance. Like, can you use it in a sentence?
The wrecks will come in abundance.
What's the verb? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's not abundance because abundance isn't a verb.
All right, it rhymes with the verb somewhere. Yeah, I think we're gonna wreck a lot. I mean, this was the first race I did last season for RSR, so technically happy 1-year anniversary to RSR.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, but there was a lot of wrecks. I mean, it was the first time on dirt for a lot of these drivers. They didn't necessarily know, it took a little bit of learning for them to get the next gen car on the dirt, but it'll be entertaining. Let's just say that. I think we might be doing a lot of filling. I've got some good topics.
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you this. I think that we're going to see, because of the track state how it's going to continue to get faster, and the grip levels are going to continue to increase. It's almost going to create one lane traffic potentially at one point. I mean, it could be a very wide kind of lane for all these drivers to run through. But dirt is a finicky thing. I personally traveled. I worked for the World of Outlaws last year and got to see a lot of dirt racing up close. And goodness, Bristol definitely something else. A lot of dirt drivers. I'll tell you a little inside knowledge, Terry. You want to hear it?
Throw it.
A lot of the dirt late model and dirt sprint car drivers, not a big fan of Bristol dirt, which I think is also why there is no Bristol World of Outlaws event this year. It's very taxing on the equipment that dirt drivers bring to the track night in, night out, weekend in, weekend out. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Bristol as a dirt track, because it's definitely polarizing. Personally, I'd love to go to a track that is completely built for dirt, like maybe Eldora, maybe Knoxville. I think these cars would. Look at DeCoin or Illinois State Fairground for ARCA. Those races aren't incredible, but
I'm going to be honest for a second, and I'm sure anybody who hears this, they might hate what I say. I don't care.
And we want to know what you think, too, in the YouTube live chat.
They didn't sell a whole lot of tickets, right? So this lame-ass excuse that people have of, we have to go to a NASCAR sanction, what's good for the facility, what's good for parking. They sold what they sold, right? I think there was 30,000 people there, potentially. Go take a set of bleachers. Make this a traveling show. Make this a once a year on Easter Sunday. Do what SMI did for Bristol. I mean, all the glory in the world was passed to God. They did a fantastic job worshiping God at Bristol. They had the Easter service. They had Tim Tebow. They had a lot of stuff that happened. But take it to a place like Lucas. Take it to a place like Eldora. Take it to a place and go around and make it feel home. Make it feel fantastic. They have dirt tracks all around this country. I mean, there are dirt tracks in everybody's backyard neighborhood somewhere. Who cares if you put the greatest show in the world, right, on at this time, but you don't have to take the world's greatest Coliseum. It was a good race. It was a great race, but you don't have to make it a big show because it sells so many tickets. If you sell the Bristol Dirt Race out, then come give me that argument. But you sold less than a quarter of it. You could have barely packed the front grandstands. You couldn't even put the corner or the back straightaway. So stop it. Take it to Eldora.
We'll talk more about dirt topics because there's a lot more to talk about, especially what our race control. Is that what you're seeing right now? Yeah,
No.
yeah. No?
Well, yes. I mean, he makes a good point, but Brett Picari gets the pole with Philip Wetmore, Cobb, Freenage, and William Smith is your top six. Got Sam Nieto, Ryan Dunkelberger, Grant Davis, Michael Araya, Jaron Winemaster, Cody Harris. Now we're getting into our consolation drivers with Casto, Fetter Place, Cato, Johnson, Skull, and Alford, Kieran 18th. Rounding out your field, Stanford, Phipps, Light, George, Wolfsire, Parpooler, and Richard Woodruff for the Get Wet Esports starting grid.
I think this will be a little less contact-based, to be honest, than the Last Chance Showdown in the heats. I think, the whole saying, cautions breed cautions, but I do think the lesser of the two in terms of, not having any cautions enabled for a race, I think that almost causes more aggression, more fearsome driving, and desperation to kind of build itself through. But I think this will be definitely a show of who the best drivers are on the lone visit to a dirt track for the Full Throttle Cup Series and Real Sim Racing. Real quick before we go down the backstretch here, I'll make you all laugh. Our race control person says dirt on Daytona instead of dirt to Daytona. I mean, Supercross does it.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. They have a dirt track right outside turns 1 and 2.
This is true. True.
It's good for karts. I don't know.
I don't think it would be great.
I think it would hold up one stock car and they'd rip that thing out of the ground.
Nonetheless, green flag in the air. We're already stacking up down the front stretch. We all keep it straight, but 4 wide in the back. The lead.
Oh, that's Vieto.
Brett Pancari does not have the lead after starting in first. The jump was from the man on the outside, Agnel Phillip. As always, strong as can be. And are we going to have a lane change violation? The restart is under review.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I said this the last time Joshua Mendoza was our race control. He's in depth of what he does. We'll take a look at the Full Throttle Real Sim Racing replay here and see if the lane was changed.
I don't see it.
He jumped it.
He did. He did. Definitely jumped it.
Yeah, not the leader, but there was a lane change somewhere a little further on back, but he's in depth. That's the one thing I can say. I think we have his setup, too, that's inside the race control that we have. But he doesn't let things go. He's looking at every piece of this field. You're not going to get away with much.
Yeah, no, you're really not. And when you've got eagle eyes, oh, what's going on? There we go, race control.
There's our race control.
Don't you love the radial look at the map instead of having? Isn't that a really interesting look at kind of what's going on? We're looking at this is like VAR in the Premier League, MLS, anything in world football nowadays. This is great.
He sees every square inch of this racetrack. You see him backing up the lane change. Yeah.
Can we make him laugh?
Well, I'm not sure he's paying any attention to us. I mean,
you don't think he's listening?
No, I mean, I think we could, tell him a joke. He might not care. I mean, he's really focused on this lane change.
Smile if you're listening.
Yeah, give us 2 blinks if you're in trouble.
He smiled. Caution's out.
Go. Caution flag waves. Fantastic.
Caution is out. We're looking at the 8 machine right now, and we'll get a replay of what exactly happened. Yep, Alex Light, and it almost looks like Miami Dolphin logo right there. Almost.
Stop it, Greg.
Does it not? And we're seeing just put it on the throttle, and it was like a double spin. He saved it, and then he went back into the slide and spin.
He thought about saving it.
No penalties being given on that initial start. Almost act like a mulligan there, because what Joshua Mendoza, the race control aficionado, is saying is it was almost a reaction, but be careful because we will be paying attention.
Well, that's the one thing on dirt that a lot of people don't realize happens is wheel spin. You have a hard time, especially in the sequential shifters. The last time I decided to go out here and make a fool of myself on Bristol dirt, I could not get it going. I went to the restart, I spun the tires, back end kicked around, I wrecked half the field. A lot of people yelled at me. It was a lot of people yelling at me. But it was a good learning. It was a good lesson to realize that you can't mash the throttle down as hard as you want to. You have to be very, very delicate on that throttle pedal. You'll just go in, kind of ease into it, get to third real quick, let the car kick itself out, and then work it from there. But this definitely brings a whole new meaning to driving with your feet. You're not driving with your hands on here. You're driving with your feet.
You're not wrong about that. Usually at a normal asphalt track, there is such a saying as you do drive a little bit with the throttle, with the brake pedal. I mean, if you're going into a corner, something that, here's a little tip, an inside tip that I need to apply myself to my iRacing career. sometimes you can go to a track and just go off the throttle, no brake, and get around it. No, you want to put a little bit of brake in there to start the rotation. It gets you moving and gets less turn-in with the steering wheel, saves the tires, makes you go faster. So you want to use that brake. You're still steering with the brake and the throttle there, but when you're on dirt, you are controlling this car with how much throttle input you're putting into it.
Yeah, and it's a very weird, which is why I think that this is not a suitable racetrack for dirt. This is not somewhere that I necessarily would put dirt on it, because you're carrying a little bit more speed. Yeah, it gives you a lot of room for a mistake, and it allows you to do what we saw with Michael McDowell doing 360s and a lot of other drivers doing it as well. But if you go somewhere a little bit flatter, I mean, you think of all the flat dirt tracks out there, you could probably get away with just a little bit more there. You could probably send it in with a slide job as green flag's back in the air. Agnell Phillip is going to take the early jump. And look at Dunkelberger. He's putting himself up into second. He's trying to pass David Call.
Yeah, he's trying to go from 8th to how about 2nd, and I think he's got it for sure, unless a desperate slider. They almost make contact, but Ryan Dunkelberger is going to have the spot here from David Cobb. But yeah, Dunkelberger up 6 spots and less than 10 green flag laps. Oh, he gets into Cobb a little bit right there. So we're going to hear a lot of crunching of metal and composite bodies over the course of this race. And are we staying green? The 18. Oh, the 28. Cody Harris involved there. They're still stacking up. No one's spun around yet. And we're staying green as they went 5 wide down the front stretch. They're still going 5 wide. Harris again getting hit. Oh, my goodness. Catastrophe almost, multiple times. They're still hitting each other.
Yeah, this is every producer's nightmare, is to be at a racetrack like this that has action from the front to the rear. Josh says he's having fun. To me, this would be an absolute nightmare. As an announcer, this is my worst nightmare, is calling a race and 15 different things happening at once, and you only know what to call. You just start talking and saying it that it's happening. But Kolb and Dunkelberger are 2 of the most aggressive drivers on the field. That is no surprise. Like, that is a no surprise to anybody watching. Those are the 2 most aggressive drivers, and you put them on dirt where they get to make contact. Is not, it's not warranted all the time, but it's very much appreciated. Everybody appreciated it. Oh, Casto slams are in there.
Hey, he wanted that space, and I don't know if there's going to be a lot of green flag laps over the course of this one to make moves like that and keep it in the throttle.
Oh, Lariah.
Wow.
Everybody's just, it kind of reminds me of Joseph Ice in the LCQ, get punted by every single driver. Is Dunkelberger.
Oh, no, Dunkelberger.
Caution. Oh, I thought he had it straight.
From second to spinning.
Yeah, we've said that a lot about the 18 this season.
Not much contact with anyone over the course of the half a lap, though. Go on. Oh, yeah, I lied.
Yeah, he gets it there, but yeah, once he gets in a weird spot, and if this makes him mad, I hope he messages me after when I say it. But we'll see him a lot up front. We'll see him a lot leading races. He's way talented than I am. I am not. I'm the Kyle Petty of this broadcast booth. I can win 1 or 2, and I can talk a big game, but that's about all I got, right? But he runs up front, and he races with the winners. He races with the champions of RSR. And then once he gets over his head, he just kind of falls off a little bit, and he does it every race. And now he's in 19th with a torn-up car.
Yeah, that hood bashed in. We'll have to see how much that affects his horsepower. But I don't know if horsepower is the biggest thing in this race as much as it is. Well, it's going to be a lot to just get that car turning,
Yeah, I mean, if people are diving in and popping you a couple times, we're going to have a
breaking news. We're going to do a live look into Nevin's flight. Next caution. I mean, technically,
it's flight tracker. I think.
Technically, he could push me off a VMix again.
Anytime he wants to, technically. I mean, anytime he really wants to kick either one of us off, he could.
Too funny. Agnell Phillip calls the top lane. That is where he will restart once we get back to green flag racing in this one. You know, usually in one of the other leagues we broadcast here on RaceSpotTV, the Precision Racing League, we always have to worry about the timer. And that timer was definitely playing a major factor in the Cup Series race at Martinsville they did last night. Well, we have a 2-hour timer, and I don't think we're going to have to worry about that in this race.
Well, I actually think this is a good idea. Our race control is willing to chime in here. That'll be pretty funny. And actually helpful as well. Yeah, I mean, if he ever just chimes in. I mean, we technically have a rules analyst like you do, like he talked about in the XFL. That's actually pretty solid. I think we should chime that in more, because that's helpful for us. I don't know what made the call happen. I'm not a race control guy. I know how to do it, but obviously he's got a better setup than me. But that pace truck's off, man. Let's get dirty again.
Let's get back to business here, and not in Mulan style. I just realized I did that. But we're back to racing, and they're fighting for second. It's Tom Wetmore and Jaron Weinmaster. Weinmaster on the outside is going to look for that momentum, but the slider from Tom Wetmore puts him in front. Almost got tagged by Weinmaster, who has to settle for right now third, but right underneath him is David Cobb. By the way, Weinmaster started 11th, and he gets into another driver and falls back almost all the way to 11th. He was up to third the first time we came back to the restart, and now we're on board with Andrew Farina. He's currently in 10th position. He started 5th. He's right now in the thick of things.
Yeah, it was one of the fastest drivers in practice. I'm very surprised to see him outside the top 10 here at this moment. He's going to get passed by Cody Harris, but what a run so far for the 51. The A51 Pro machine, I'm sorry, the Tube Tech machine. A51 is the leader. I looked at Phillip for a second, but what a run for Tom Wetmore for Roadhouse Esports. They do a lot of good things here for RSR, and he's had a lot more runs up here in the top 5. Not just the super speedway guy. He's got great chances throughout this whole season. He's learned the next gen car. They tweeted at me and told me that they wasn't running the Tennessee Orange this week. A little upset of that as Agnell Phillip goes in the wall. Caution's out, so it didn't matter anyhow, but Wetmore was there. He was trying to pass Agnell Phillip for the race lead.
Wow, yeah, Wetmore is... Oh, boy. Well, multiple spins, multiple times you bring out the caution, the worse that reflects. Well, that's not really his fault right there. Actually, he was not even really that involved there. We thought it was, so apologies to Alex Light. The 27 machine just went for a little bit of a slide. That's Richard Woodruff. And Light just goes for a spin, and oh, man, that's not going to be good. You got to watch where you're kind of rejoining, and kind of backed up out of a parking lot without really recognizing who was trying to drive by him.
Yeah, this is
I'm actually, you want to do a little thing? Love to get Josh Mendoza in here and just an idea of what to expect from some officiating calls right there in a situation, Josh, if you are listening like that, where we see Alex Light kind of reverse, and this isn't to call out Light, but I'm just curious to see the mentality here that goes into officiating RSR races in a situation where he backs out and makes contact with another car, whether the damage is heavy, whether the damage is light, he still makes contact from a stationary position, an unsafe rejoin. But does anything come from that, or is that just it just happens?
So our rule book has a great little clause. It's called avoidable contact. It's basically it talks about things that you can do on the track that may be just avoidable but aren't necessarily something that would bring out a caution, or necessarily its caution may have already occurred. Race control will have broad discretion over what they deem is an appropriate penalty, if they feel it's something that needs to be penalized. It doesn't necessarily always need to be penalized, but if it's something that is just reckless or something that could definitely cause some sort of hazard to other drivers out on track, we have a wonderful opportunity to go out and say, hey, look, that was not what we want to see here at RSR. We're going to go ahead and penalize as such. Hopefully we don't see that too much tonight. It is difficult to kind of get onto the track. A lot of these drivers are used to driving around asphalt race surfaces, and the reduced grip and stuff like that. With the high horsepower, these engines can easily cause them to lose control of their vehicle, so I'll take that into consideration as well.
Thank you very much, Josh. Josh Mendoza, race control for RSR. And Terry, we've hit the jackpot with that idea from Josh going XFL style here.
I mean, he does a really good job over at eRacer. I hear they've got a charity race of some sort that'll be on eRacer here soon, and I think they said something about an announcement coming up as well. So check the fans over, and I don't know if I'll get in trouble for plugging eRacer over here on RaceSpot, but I don't care. There's a cool there's a cool race that Blake McCandless is hosting over there on that channel that does a lot of good things. They're doing I believe it's 600 miles in the Gen 4, which if that's not entertaining just by saying it, I don't know what people are entertained with anymore.
Usually when you say, are you not entertained, it's about the number 300, not 600.
Well, and so it's kind of weird, but he put this out there. It's the World 600 is what they're doing with the Gen 4s, and that's a great idea as the green flag comes
man,
back.
horrible
That was an
start.
awful start for the 51.
Yeah, Tom Wetmore with a horrible start, but almost saved it with the push coming from the rear. And we hear some crunching of body work going on deeper in the field. There's a spinner. It's Jared Winemaster, and I think Cody Harris caught him. Yep, Harris has stopped.
Yeah, and that stinks for the 9 because he's really fast. Like that's the sad part is Cody Harris.
There's nowhere that Cody could have went right there. Nowhere. Winemaster just slid down too low, got a little bit too much rotation, and there she went. Hey, look who went by, Alex Light. By the way, Alex Light, one lap down, should get that lucky dog spot, which will be great for him.
And so I alluded to the World 600. I obviously am going to plug the time and date too. I had to find it. April 25th, 26th on twitch.tv/eracer_GG is where you'll find that race. Whatever their announcement might be, I know a lot of people have speculations. I hope it's the speculation of what I want to see, but it's going to be a good race, and a lot of drivers have signed up for this race, and I think he's got a consolation race that's going to be there with it too. So a lot of good things throughout the world of NASCAR that is here in this time, and there's a lot going on, Dylan. You need to keep staying plugged into the NASCAR world of things.
Absolutely. Hey, no way.
Hey,
no way.
Where's he at? Oh, Yellowstone. So he's in Montana.
Wow.
It's a crappy state.
Wow.
Where do you want to be? Hopefully Evan doesn't land in Montana. Yellowstone is amazing, but the state itself. Big Sky's good too from out of a show out of Montana. Reba was in it, so I'm kind of there. But
fair enough. I'm actually loving the fact that we have this this live update on Evan Pasoko.
Poor Evan.
Poor Evan.
Tracking this man.
I mean, if only he was in charge of Twitter.
That's all that matters. It's
like somebody was when he was getting a little grumpy that they were having flights tracked. You know who I'm talking about.
I absolutely love the fact that we're pulling this up because, he's a big flight enthusiast.
He loves,
Loves
for anyone that doesn't know Evan Pasoko, if you want to get Evan talking,
just talk about planes.
Talk about planes. Talk about airports.
Talk about planes.
It's a big bit of enthusiasm that you get from Evan. And
I'm almost positive he has been on, if memory serves me right, I think he's been on every single
He tracks.
plane.
Yeah, he tracks everything he does when it comes to going in the air. I also do. My count is at charter flights. I'm sorry. That was so like
I'm just
high horse.
I guess I'm weird. Because my thing, now that I've finally gotten into the real world broadcasting, is collecting merchandise from racetracks.
You got to do it.
So now I own a hat from every racetrack but Dillon. Dillon Motor Speedway wasn't selling hats.
Yeah, that's my bad.
They wasn't selling hats. It was raining, so they didn't put the merchandise truck out there. So unfortunately for me, that's the one track so far I don't have a hat for. But green flags back in the air. So William Smith took this race lead before the caution flag came out, and he's got it with Tom Whitmore still sitting second.
And once again, Andrew Farina, as you see in the back in that blue and yellow machine, is really struggling on these restarts, mired in the mid-pack as cars, he gets hit twice, and he's around. That's a broadcaster's curse if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, this is your fault. Dunkelberger once again. Dunkel dumped is what we'll describe this one as. The checkup in front.
That was an accordion effect with 4 cars. Goodness.
4 cars and only one went around in that whole process.
Watch this. Boom.
Freenage went around too. Okay, so Freenage goes around. Even the best of the best in RSR struggle on dirt.
Yes, absolutely. Evan Pasoko, what's next? My FR24, is that like Flight Radar 24 or something like that? He says in the YouTube channel.
Are we pulling him up more? Because Evan's actually. This is how great technology is in this world. Is that we're tracking Evan Pasoko in the air, and then on top of that, he's talking to us. Flying
from
like Montana,
miles in the sky.
Yeah, he's all the way up there, chilling, doing whatever, and he's talking to us on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure technology's advanced so good that he probably could have called this race, but people would have been a little mad because it's
Could you imagine?
What's it, about 9 on that time in that time zone? I don't know what Montana's time zone is.
Isn't that the Pacific?
There.
Yeah, I think it's 7. I think it's 7 o'clock in Montana.
7 o'clock. I think somebody would be a little mad when they're over there trying to nap with the pillow that they only buy for the airport, and they don't ever use it again. It just sits in their closet and collects dust. Can we pull this up of what he's talking about? The FR24? Can we yank more stuff for Evan?
Evan's going to Doha, right? He's not going straight to South Africa, so.
No, he wanted a layover.
He wanted a layover. He wanted to chill. As we see some cars coming down pit lane. Andrew Farina is one of those drivers who is coming down for service, and Grant Davis as well.
This race just went downhill for us. It started good.
How about we continue going a little bit more downhill? What are the most absurd ideas that you can have for a dirt race using tracks that are not dirt based?
Hickory. We should go to Hickory and just change the rules.
Didn't they kind of change the rules at Hickory for?
Yeah, that happened. We could go to Spa. I like Josh's idea. Go to Spa with dirt, a road dirt.
I don't think it would be possible to go up a Radeon.
Oh, I think it would. I think it'd be fantastic. Have a blind corner with dirt. Come on now. I think that it would be a smart idea if we took Dover and dirted it.
I think you are insane.
I think it'd be funny.
Like, clinically.
Or Talladega. Talladega half dirt and just do the pit road and the front stretch with the tri-oval and just dirt it that way. Or Auto Club, yeah, mid-destruction.
Green flag.
Jump it.
Green flag back in the air. And William Schmidt almost got tagged. I think he got a little touch from Agnell Phillip, or excuse me, Tom Wetmore, who slid right up in front of Phillip. And Phillip is getting way over that caution. And once again, yellow. And they're still wrecking.
Oh, that's Raleigh Davis.
Two different locations they wrecked. And boy, oh boy, a lot of the same drivers are getting involved in these wrecks.
Sometimes it's not their fault. I mean, we saw there,
right.
It just checked up here, and the 15 gets turned. Grant Davis thought he had it missed. Pooler was up against the wall, nowhere to go. Gets kind of sandwiched in there. The 15, he has nowhere to go as well. He's kind of just sitting there. Nick Alford, just nowhere. It all stemmed from right here. Alfred pushes the 12 of Cato up against the wall, and around everybody goes.
Well, there's pretty much no need to have to go into the pits at all in this race.
No, you're not taking fuel. I mean, we've had enough cautions to
right,
run
exactly.
This. The tires is what tire wear? What tire wear around here?
Yeah. Well, we might see some shredding of tires come later in the race because of that rubbering in process. When a track gets really rubbered in, we call it getting slicked off, and then it just shreds the tires.
I think
a lot of grip, but
I think we have Evan's all-time flight record. His flight log here with Matt.
Excuse me?
Yeah, here we go. So 360 flights for 411,000 miles, and look at all of this. There's I don't have an illustrator here. Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
He's been to Italy, Germany, to the United Kingdom. The only thing he hasn't done, right, is gone over to Poland. For some reason, he was in the North Pacific Ocean twice. I don't know necessarily what he was doing in the North Pacific Ocean, but he was having fun. 2 trips to Australia.
That's Hawaii, buddy.
Well, you know, it's not illuminated on the map, you idiot. Like, obviously, I don't know it's in the North Pacific, but he's had fun out there. And I think he took his girlfriend to Hawaii a couple times. I think that's where she's potentially resided at one point or lived. But Canadian Evan Pasoko traveling the world. He's, I think he's more Americanized than we give him credit for.
So we, if things don't get going, if we keep seeing the caution fest that this race has been so far,
we're exposing everybody tonight.
We might have single file restarts. We might.
I think single file restarts would be a great idea.
Well, we're double file for now, and that's the way that these competitors will restart. Green flag back out in the air, and again, William Schmidt gets a great jump. Tom Wetmore right in behind.
I know who's really excited to see Tom Wetmore run in second. That's Nancy, who's out there watching. She watches every one of his broadcasts. Love to see him run good. I know Tom would love to win one of these things. I hope I don't jinx him. He's up there in the wall a little bit. Cobb's going to go underneath. Good rebound for Cobb. Coming back up after that incident early on in the race with Ryan Dunkelberger. Slipped back a little bit, but he's got a good car. He's there.
Yeah, he is definitely right there. A lot of these drivers who have fallen back in the field, too. Wow! As Wetmore, he's going to suffer major damage. He got into the wall so hard that he almost went Lightning McQueen style, riding up against the fence.
That's number 2 for cars. It's strike 3, and we're going to think that you know the entire movie. Okay, we enjoy our Pixar. I enjoy good Doc Hudson stories just like anybody else, but we'll go back to the other part of this with Fetter Place. Ryan Dunkelberger, and now we're going to look here at the 52 of Casto and Johnson in the 39. Johnson is struggling on the bottom. He's got Lariah going to jump to that outside with Brett Picari, who we thought after his heat race that Picari was going to do good. And we have a caution. There's Carl Mueller again.
Boy. Yeah, and you hate to see it with the same drivers getting involved in these incidents, but there comes a point.
Oh, he just
and then gets hit 3 times, 4 times, almost 5.
Oh, and Grant Davis missed him by a hair.
Man, this is what can you do? I mean, what can you do?
I know what I won't do is race dirt. see, I don't have this problem. And we got more flights out here. That's 3. This is Josh's. We got.
Do you guys just track this yourselves?
Do. Well, they put it in where they're at. Obviously, it's in their own little radar. I think it's you just add the flight where you went. Got 3 trips. It looks like down here to Hawaii. Is that Nicaragua?
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Okay, so Costa Rica down there. Got a couple to the lower peninsula of Florida. Hey, Iceland? That's an interesting trip. I hope my wife's not watching, because this is going to give her ideas of where she wants to go, and I'll have to tell her no.
Iceland's beautiful. You should go sometime.
I would imagine Iceland is gorgeous. Yeah. Well, now that Evan gave us permission to show more, but this is a good bit of trips. My driving miles would kind of keep up with the flight miles, but I think flying might be a little bit more beautiful than driving.
How do you I'm on Flight Radar 24 as we speak.
There's Josh. So you got Josh's down to Puerto Rico a couple times. He's been up to, is that, what part of Canada would that be? If it'd be Vancouver and Edmonton. Okay, I was wondering, because up in the middle part of Canada, that's up around where Tim Terry's from. Good buddy from the US Legend Cars.tv world of things, and travels around with them. He was just in Nashville last week. Couple Californias. That's a lot of flights. 150,000 miles. That is a ton.
How do I add my flights on here? I'm gonna get taught after the fact, guys.
I think you just have to push add flight and then just put where you went from to where you went. And that's how it goes.
Green flag in the air.
Well, we're gonna see, because the Roadhouse Esports guys just tweeted at me and was laughing because we were talking about flights, and they said, speaking of flying, not sure how far the Tube Tech Chevy almost flew up to France into the stands. I mean, we could have seen a repeat of what happened at the racetrack.
Oh, look at Phillip. Look at Phillip way up into the wall. Some contact. Yeah, that could have been really bad right there. Michael Araya just on the outside. All of these cars not really able to get themselves straight, sliding. And William Schmidt has pulled far ahead, but for how long will he be able to keep this lead with the length of green flag runs in this race? We're over a third of the way into this one, nearing the halfway point, and around 17 or so laps, and almost completely getting clipped was Agnell Phillip into Sean Casto. That could have been bad.
I think if you're William Schmidt right here at this moment, you're praying that we stay under the yellow flag quite a bit. He's got a fast car, but if you let the 99 of Kolb get up there to you, Kolb is just a smidge aggressive. I'm not going to imagine. I would imagine that he would go above and beyond to get a win if it meant sliding and missing, like what we saw with Chase Briscoe and Tyler Reddick last year at the Bristol Dirt Race, and allowed Kyle Busch to come up and win it. Or you'll see what we saw with Larson and in that Christopher Bell boy. He got in the issue, but I mean, we got a lot of stuff that's going to transpire through here. We're starting to slick this track up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Rubber in. I mean, they're fighting it hard.
Yeah, they're definitely rubbering it in. They're going to have some faster speeds here. And, oh, my goodness, Agnell Phillip and Sean Casto just cannot seem to get away from each other. They're like magnets from hood to bumper.
He just parked the bus.
Oh, man. Speaking about parking the bus.
Oh, Dunkelberger again.
I gotta say, like,
two of them wasn't his fault. I will give him full disclosure. He's just been wrong place, wrong time. But
not in this case.
Oh yeah, kinda. He got loose, and there was nowhere for Nieto to go. You're there, and it's there, bam.
I'm at the point, and I'm gonna pull a page out of your book, Terry. I'm at the point where you start disqualifying guys who cannot keep it straight. I'm sorry.
I mean, well,
they gotta keep it moving. Like
you run a fine line with that.
You do. You definitely do. It's just, what are your options? And I'm not saying that any of these drivers are bad drivers. I just think the combination of these Cup cars on the dirt at Bristol is so difficult.
Well, I think we also run into the incident points. So
right,
there's times. I mean, I'm looking up and down incident wise. At the moment, we're kind of tallying it up here. I mean, we got a lot of drivers that's in double-digit incidents. So, we come to that point where once we reach, and I'm not 100% certain on the RSR rule book of what the incident DQ limit is here, but I know I think it's 40 is where I think that we're at to get it. A lot of drivers are pushing that threshold that we've seen in multiple incidents here this afternoon, but I can't say nothing. I would be no better. I probably wouldn't even made the dang show. I would have been the first heat wrecked, probably lap 1, lap 2. The best thing I can drive around dirt is maybe the street stocks. No limit, never mind. So no limit, it's only a caution cause system. So we'll have a lot of people getting points deductions at the end of this race.
And suspensions. Potential suspensions.
So
now, if I remember correctly, a lot of this depends on if you claim the caution, which these drivers
claim caution.
Right, and these drivers can claim responsibility for the caution by typing in simply the letter C in the chat. They type that in, they get 1 point on their first offense, and I believe it's 2 on their second offense, and once it's 3, I mean, you're almost suspended for the next race, pretty much, right? I mean, it's not that simple. But
let's bring the rules guy in. Yeah,
let's do it.
We got a guy that knows them better than we do.
Josh Mendoza.
I allude to this because we're lost.
Yeah, so it's not entirely too complicated. If you claim it, you either get 1 penalty point if you claim it, or 2 penalty points if you don't claim it. So those who choose to claim will get an EOL for their first cause incident. Their second cause incident, they'll get a 1-lap hold, and their third cause incident will result in a disqualification. Now, on the other hand, if they go unclaimed, they'll get 2 penalty points, 4 penalty points, and if they cause a third one and still haven't claimed, that's at 1 race suspension. So something to just be wary of and be careful of.
We're up there, Dylan. There might be a couple suspensions for Talladega, which nobody wants to be suspended for Dega, but it could happen. We could have some open availability here in RSR.
It's almost potentially a blessing in disguise for the 7 drivers who did not make the show here if they felt they weren't comfortable enough to get it into this 25-lap field. Green flag back out, and we're going down the backstretch with William Schmidt still in the lead. David Cobb, Agnell Phillip. Agnell Phillip actually started in 3rd, jumped up to 2nd, past David Cobb. Sean Casto, Michael Araya, Cody Harris spinning, and big hits. Are we going to have the caution? Another big hit. Nothing out yet.
No.
Wow.
Well, they kind of straightened it out. I mean, it was a self-cleaning wreck.
It was a self-cleaning wreck, but it was still a wreck nonetheless. But I'm okay with it going green still.
Yeah, I mean, we need to see what this track's going to do. I mean, you still see patchy dirt. You still see we haven't really put a whole lot of green flag laps on here, so it is starting to slick off a little bit in turns 1 and 2. We've had a lot more action. We've had a lot more width around there. But what does this track do if we go green to the end? I mean, that would be a what's that? A 80-lap run to the end if we could pull this off to see what this track can roll with as it goes. But this is. I think NASCAR could do a little bit better with package when it comes to the dirt, but I do like the fact that drivers are at least attempting to get better at it. And this is the one-off deal for RSR. So now caution flag's out now. But this is a one-off deal for RSR. A lot of these drivers, barely have a D license. I mean, some of them have an A license in dirt, but a lot of them don't.
Last try to go double file restarts. If it doesn't work out, we're going single file.
Let's see what brought the caution out this time.
I can't find the caution at all, to be honest, and I'd really like to think that we can find the caution, but oh, yep, I saw it. Nick Alford, he had a very quick 360 at one point in the 15. We'll catch it maybe right here. This is the quickest 360, quicker than Michael McDowell's too. You'll see it here.
Blam around. That's probably what brought the, yeah, here's the caution.
All right. How was that a caution? And the other wasn't.
I think because they wasn't at a 90-degree angle. I think iRacing triggers it, but he was still on the gas. He didn't make contact with a lot of other drivers, and he kind of kept it straight at all times. So this is kind of what we thought it would be. It's not necessarily these drivers' first go-to driving style. They don't go, oh, let's go put next gen on dirt and run it. I mean, you see that the track has changed quite a bit. I mean, it's rubbering in, quite a bit right here. You see a lot of drivers up in the cushion a little bit, trying to keep their tires there. So.
Yeah, definitely can visualize that darker, really rubbered in portion of the track, which I gotta be honest, like, we saw this on Easter Sunday and we're seeing it in iRacing. The track really widens out, and for all the complaints about Bristol being dirt, I gotta say they do a great job with what they have to do to get this track prepped.
Yeah, I mean, year one, it wasn't going to be perfect.
We don't talk about year one.
Like, year one wasn't going to be perfect. It was a nightmare. I was in Korea watching the race at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was just like, oh, this is a disaster. It's flooding in Bristol. It was just not perfect, ideal conditions for racing. Last year, they had a lot of dust issue, but when the nighttime came, they realized, oh, man, nighttime dirt racing is what it is. It holds the moisture better. The sun's not beating on it. We can water it a little bit.
Why do you think most dirt races are always at night?
Exactly. And I think NASCAR missed the ball on year one. But do I think dirt racing should go away? Yes and no. Like, do I think that the top form of motorsports on Easter Sunday of all weekends needs to be watching Bristol dirt? No. I think we need to put a better track on Easter weekend and show new people what NASCAR is about. Like, that was the one weekend where a lot of people are at home. A lot of people watch basic cable. They're flipping through the channels and they're like, oh, what's this NASCAR thing? Watching drivers wreck time and time again and spinning on the dirt is not what's going to attract new people to watch this sport. Maybe football, but it's not going to be NASCAR.
Don't get me wrong. I think dirt has a place in NASCAR because I want to see the top stock car drivers in the world race at every discipline, just like road courses. As Green comes back out, and once again, William Schmidt with a fantastic jump here gets to 3 or 4 car lengths in front of Sean Casto and Agnell Phillip. I think what I was saying, Terry, is I think it has a place, right? It definitely has a place in terms of being in the sport, dirt racing, just like road course racing, just like super speedway racing. Yellow flag is out. Again, there's a crunch in the back, and I think it's Cody. Oh man, Cody Harrison. Yep. Do you understand what I'm saying about coming to a point where?
Check up.
Man, this is.
He got turned again. Got turned twice in one lap. I agree that dirt needs every discipline needs to be in there.
Interesting. Hold on. Cody Harris claimed the caution.
That's just him probably wanting to get it off of him, just go to the back. I mean,
Right.
I think every discipline needs to be there, but Easter weekend, if you're going to put a race on that weekend,
It's not the dirt race.
not the dirt race. I'm biased, and I take this with a grain of salt. The Nashville Fairgrounds.
Oh, man, that would be amazing.
If we get the fairgrounds back, put the fairgrounds there on Easter weekend. But if we don't get the fairground back, I'm not saying make North Wilkesboro a mainstay in NASCAR, because I think you dilute it quite a bit if you take North Wilkesboro and say, okay, you're going to go back on this calendar every single year. Like, I think you dilute it at that moment. There's a reason NASCAR left North Wilkesboro is because they were trying to leave that part, but now they're wanting to go back. But if you take a place like that and you revolve the All-Star race around quite a bit, which we're going to go single file on the restart here, but if you take the All-Star race and use it what it should be, highlighting a lot of the local short tracks. Think about going to Hickory one year. Like, NASCAR has a lot of home tracks. It's on flow. If NASCAR took the money that they're pushing down there into those racetracks, maybe do a facelift on some of them. Don't take the characteristics away from Hickory. That is probably the coolest racetrack I have ever stepped foot on in my life. Like,
here's an idea. I think the All-Star race, in the current way, in the current state of NASCAR, you know, we're very gone from the days where you could sell out Charlotte Motor Speedway for the All-Star event.
Oh, of course.
I think you make the All-Star event, and do exactly what I think they're doing with North Wilkesboro this year, a made-for-TV special, almost.
Correct.
And I think that's what it should be. Yeah, absolutely. So why not go to short tracks that, I mean, you need to upgrade the facilities to make them safer, for sure, but you don't have to put in tens of thousands of seats. You really don't.
Well, you think of the Cars Tour. What a wonderful thing that's grown into, right? That has grown into a multi-million-dollar establishment. And if you think of the tracks that they go to, safety's first and foremost. You do not want to see one of these late model stock drivers get hurt. You don't want to see one of your limited late model stock drivers get hurt. You don't want to see death at a dirt track anymore. Like, that needs to pan away. If we safeten some of these tracks up and take NASCAR, the top premier series of the United States, to these local tracks like Hickory, like North Wilkesboro, like Southern National, Dillon, take it to places that don't necessarily get a whole lot of crowds on their normal Friday, Saturday night shows. You put NASCAR out there and say, okay, we're going to go run 150 laps here, and we're going to run the All-Star race for $1 million. I think it adds a little prestige, puts a little bit more money in these people's pocket. Go to Florence. I mean, for heaven's sakes, look at the work they did at the Florence Motor Speedway. They have uplifted
5 flags.
Racetrack. 5 flags would be phenomenal. I mean, they put a lot of people with a limited amount of drivers making the All-Star race on those tracks would just be great. And just make it a revolving five years.
Exactly. And then have the Cars Tour on the same day as the All-Star Open and the All-Star race. We're back to green flag racing. We are just cooking up some great ideas here. You can see how much
NASCAR's listening.
Hey, if I know eNASCAR's listening.
They always listen. But if NASCAR was listening, these ideas, they're not perfect. There's flaws to every idea, but make the All-Star race weekend something just a little bit different every year, and just showcase the amazing short track promoters on this planet, because there's too many that gets unrecognized and unnoticed, and there's a lot that's closing down. They wouldn't be closing down if NASCAR walked in there once a year.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I think we are onto something here. Jaron Wymaster into the wall. Oh, man, Ross Cato almost got punted there. Had to almost shuffle his way around. Tunkari yells and...
Caution. Casto.
Caution. Oh, man. Sean Casto from second. Just lose it? Yeah?
Yeah. Single car right in front of Agnell Phillip. What a miss. Not a whole lot of damage, too. for him right there in the 52 machine. He's going to fall down the leaderboard, though, quite a bit. He's going to go all the way back to... Oh, come on, scroll, you.
You know, I think we're still at only one car being off the lead lap.
I think we are. I think we've seen quite a bit of... he's going to fall all the way down to 19th. Sam Nieto is off the racetrack, so we have 23. It's Casto. Looks like he's coming down pit lane. He's coming down pit lane here.
You know, Terry, this is a situation. I actually really would like to bring in Josh Mendoza another time here. And again, this is more a question of what can you do, right? What tools as race control are in your disposal to try and help the flow of this race besides setting it to single file restarts? Never mind. We'll get back to Josh Mendoza in just a little bit. He's currently occupied. Terry?
Yeah, I'd be... I'm going to be curious to see what we do next season for this race. Do we come back to Bristol Dirt? Is this the weekend that we potentially take off and say we run Martinsville instead? Like, do we substitute this on the RSR calendar? I'm sure a lot of the drivers might speak. I mean, we have 21 minutes to finish 60 laps in the feature. Not too sure time-wise what we see, if we actually hit the time or if we're going to hit the laps. It's going to be an interesting factor to see. It's 20 minutes even now.
So Josh is back. Josh, love to know what can you do in race control besides just sending it single file to really help the flow of the race, help these drivers kind of just keep the car straight and keep it green.
Yeah, it's you know, there's obviously you have tools to incentivize these drivers to race clean, and sometimes they'll listen to it, but very frequently drivers don't necessarily think of those disincentives of racing clean. So, you know, for lack of a better way to put it, I got to become the teacher, and the kids in the classroom sometimes need to get told, "Hey guys, come on, let's not make ourselves look too bad out there. We got a broadcast on there, and they're more interested in talking about Evan flying around the world than they are about the race that's happening because you guys can't figure it out."
Right,
so.
And trust me, we don't want to be talking about Evan Pasoko flying around the world. No offense.
Yeah, no offense to Pasoko out there, or the GOAT, let's call him.
Yeah,
but those are our tools. So we're gonna go green here. I'll throw it back to you guys. I got other things to worry about now.
I think you might have a lot of things to worry about as we go back to green flag racing single file. So hopefully we get one or two green flag laps in here. And once again, William Schmidt with a good jump. Maybe not as good as before, as Agnell Phillip is hot on his tail. David Cobb, Tom Wetmore as well. As Cobb actually got, I think, yeah, he got in front of Wetmore here on that restart. Yeah, 1939 fighting with each other. That's Eric Stanford and Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson gets a little bit loose on the exit. That could have been dangerous. Gregory Shaw saying that car just does not want to turn. He's currently mired back in 21st position after starting in 17th. The so far biggest fall back of any drivers, I think you'd have to say, is Sam Nieto. Sam very much prides himself on some heavy-duty, top-notch racing. Tonight has not been his night so far. Started 7th back in 22nd in that Ford. And I know you're not enjoying seeing that paint scheme all the way in the back, Terry, but, you know, sometimes things happen like that.
Always the best-looking paint scheme on the market, but I would give a big shout-out to Thomas George in that 6 machine. He's done a good job. As we take a look at the 34 Bowie, he holds on to it there. He's got the 9 of Winemaster to his outside. He's holding on here for dear life. But what a job for that number 6 of Thomas George. He's drove through the field. He's biding his time up here inside the top 10. I think that's a win within itself if he's able to keep it up here. Just kind of survive the dirt. I don't necessarily see Thomas George as much of a dirt guy outside of this, so it would be good to see as Agnell Phillip, Kolb, Wetmore having a good one. You know, I got a message from his team. They were talking about how he's really good here at the dirt. That this is something that he looks forward to going to every year, and he just needs, you know, less cars on the racetrack. I think would be a big solution too. As he tried that, he got up there 2 wheels on the wall, kind of rim righted there for a second. He's going to get to the outside of Agnell Phillip here.
Yeah, getting to the outside right here. Really good driving, really good racing. Hey, this is looking good so far with some green flag laps. I have to say it though.
No, you don't.
Hey, listen, I got my mulligan out when Andrew Farina, as I was saying, was back in traffic.
Get it back.
Yeah.
Don't you bring bad juju in here.
Oh man,
I'll sage you through this computer. I've got sage sticks. I will sage you.
Some of the some of the biggest movers. Michael Johnson has moved from 16th to 9th. Thomas George from 22nd to 8th. Eric Stanford from 9th to 7th. Those 3 drivers, 7th, 8th, and 9th, respectively.
Yeah, like I said, I can't be more proud of Thomas George and what he's doing. Way to go. Way to go. This is your fault. Blame you. Like, there was no other person than you. It's the 25s around. That's Andrew Phipps. Hey, this is blame Dylan. Hashtag blame Dylan. He's the one that brought it out and said we were running good.
Okay.
We could have just let it
we
go.
were.
And we could have just talked about the race, talked about the flow.
Oh man!
But you had to say, man, what great racing we got going on here. It's green. And then bam, caution flag waves. Your fault.
Do you think Evan? Just.
Damn. Evan's probably laughing at the broadcast.
Is
he? Might delete it from the archive.
He might just cancel this race call and exhibition by the end. I wonder if Josh Mendoza, this isn't a call for you to come onto the broadcast at this moment. I wonder if Josh has the amount of cautions we've had in this race so far, and for the amount of laps that we've had it for. I almost feel like this is going to be a crazy thought, but if we really want to have this race and we're really going to be racing like this, turn cautions off for the main feature too.
I wonder what kind of snacks he has back there with him. I had a yogurt and a Star Crunch.
You already said about the Star Crunch?
Yeah. I really want to go get a brownie, but we don't have commercials. If we did, I'd say, let's go to a commercial, and then I would go get a brownie, and I would just sit here and eat the brownie. Yeah, I don't have that. We don't have that luxury. I mean, I guess we could, feel the roar or something and let the cars just go by for about a half a lap and then wreck, and then we go get whatever. But I got little Debbie brownies in there. I caught it at Publix for 3 for $7. It was a good deal.
This has been so much you want to say, right?
Well, I mean, I guess I could say that if anybody's bored, they can always go to Wendy's and get a $5 biggie bag. Yeah, I mean, they serve breakfast too. So, I mean, if anybody wants to support the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series and the Countdown to Green, sponsored by Wendy's, along with the E-Racer cars with Wendy's on the hood, you could go get a biggie bag or some breakfast in the morning and just support the great people at Wendy's for supporting eNASCAR.
I have a thought.
Are you going to wash it down with Coke?
No.
Oh.
You should wash it down with a blueberry pomegranate lemonade from Wendy's.
Wait, was that on the broadcast?
I hope so. Please tell me that was on the show. That's fantastic.
Please tell me that was on the broadcast.
I hope that was on the show, because that was a perfect plug of what you could wash it down with outside of Coke.
And that was just That was perfect. That was beautiful. Wonderful. And if you guys didn't hear that, then we sound crazy, which we are. So,
Yeah, it happens.
yeah, so if I'm David Cobb or Tom Wetmore or Agnell Phillip, I just say for the heck with it. Go for the slide job right away. Like, legitimately, you're not going to run that many more green flag laps from what we've seen in this race.
No, send it. Full send.
Go for it. Full send. Let's see if the full send happens right now, as there are 43 laps to go in this event. There's some momentum. Yes, the king of the dirt and the king in general. David Cobb is finding some momentum, and I was going to say Tom Wetmore was finding some momentum, but he found the wall instead.
Oh,
3 wide.
Too often.
Yeah, 3 wide. Ross Cato, Jaron Winemaster, who seems to be involved in everything. My goodness.
What a drive back up through for Cody Harris. He took the claim for the third to last caution. Took the fault for it, went to the back, and I almost jinxed him. He saved it. Good for Cody Harris. Winner of the Bristol concrete race here last season. It punched his ticket to the playoffs in his first career win in RSR competition. Not fond of the dirt, it looks like, but at least we're getting some battles here. The track's starting to rubber in a little bit.
Ooh, Cato was almost hit from behind by the 34 machine. That could have been a worse place for Fetter Place to be. But tis. We got a good battle up front, by the way. I just hope we see it going through, right? David Cobb, William Schmidt, and Tom Wetmore as well. This has been some good racing here. Meatball flag has been given to Sean K. Stowe, so he'll have to get that dealt with in the pits as he goes down right now. 94-35, racing side by side. That's Brett Pancari and Agnell Phillip. I mean, the top 5 has been extremely consistent throughout this whole race. As Jaron Winemaster, somehow, some way, he's done.
I thought you were going more with the gin and juice, is that he, somehow, some way keeps coming up with funky things to say every single day. As the battle for the lead is heating up, it's getting it on up here. You got 79 of William Schmidt.
Oh, look at this. Good run from Cobb right here. I think Cobb's going to get William Schmidt with a slider. He's going to try and slide. They make contact, but he gets it. That's what I'm talking about. 37 to go. Lead change.
That's what we wanted to see. It. Oh, Wetmore sent it, and William Schmidt saved it. Yes.
Tom Wetmore says over the radio, ow.
Yeah, that was I think he's going to be saying a little bit more ow if the 79 of Schmidt gets back to the back bumper of him. I thought we saw a little bit yesterday with Trent Dinkle and Richard Regan Jr. I think we're going to see a little bit more if the 79 of Schmidt gets back up to that back bumper. You can really wreck somebody at dirt without necessarily wrecking them to cause a fault. You get under there and just pick the rears up, make them slide a little bit more than they want to, and put it on them. But wow. That was not what I expected to see, but the 99's got the lead, and the 51, and the Tube Tech Chevy, they said they're running second.
Running second, but very far behind David Cobb, who has stretched his lead out to over a second. Well, it was over a second, now it's back to over a second with 34 laps to go, now 33 laps to go. I believe it'll count down to that. Yep, 33 to go. And, I'm not going to say it, but no!
Way to go. Even when you thought it. You can't even think it. Because if it's in your mind, then it happens out there.
That's got to be the worst timing. As Alex Light goes around again. Okay. I'm sorry if I burnt out anybody's ears right there, if I blew out your eardrums.
I don't want you to think it or say it. Rule one in broadcasting, and this is the first thing that Podium ever taught me. Great Ryan Bauer, producer over there. Don't ever think about a green flag run. just automatically assume it's going to be a wreck fest. Like, say the opposite of what you want to happen, and it happens. If you think, oh, there's going to be a caution in the next 20 laps, we'll go 50 laps green. Just think the opposite. And shout out to Ryan Bauer for teaching me great lessons on how not to jinx people. I haven't got many blame Terrys over here.
You know, there have been multiple times this race. I think that's time number 3 that the broadcaster's curse has happened.
To you, the broadcaster curse. To
yeah,
you.
That's fair.
Not to me. Let's not throw any shade on me.
I'm not throwing shade on you, all right? I'm throwing shade on me. That is
Terry's
the
not
third
taking any
time.
blame for you.
That is... Okay. that is literally the third time that the timing has been so perfect. I really hope Evan is watching this race, and I really want to know what's going through his head.
He's probably going, man, I'm really glad I'm not there jinxing him. I wonder what Nolan's thinking. If Nolan's watching this race, Nolan's probably like, man.
And we're talking about really, Nolan Rempel.
Glad I'm not there.
He was supposed to be here.
He wasn't. No, he was out. Remember, he worked until 9. He missed out on us. Evan's
He's
not back
still
next week
working.
Either,
remember?
That's right. Evan's not back with us next week either. So it's just, I think it's us, and I think Nolan's back. So at least we got Nolan.
Evan in the YouTube chat. Just read it.
Oh, well, I got to get back in it. My computer's being weird.
You know, this has been. I really like to. So Terry and I have a lot of fun on broadcasts, but we're almost having too much fun.
Poor Evan. Poor Evan.
Poor Evan.
Poor Evan.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if he's at least buzzed drinking his red wine with his what was he having? Beef.
This is the most off the rails broadcast I've been a part of with RaceSpot.
It happens.
It happens.
It's RSR, man.
RSR is. It's funny. RSR almost feels like a separate entity.
It is.
In a way. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a good time.
This has been incredibly entertaining. If you are into, I mean, I don't want to call it this, but train wrecks. I mean, there are so many great races in RSR. It's my favorite series in pretty much all of iRacing leagues. It means so much to me, RSR. And there have been better races in RSR.
I think to me this feels more like a podcast.
It does.
Yeah, we got a good podcast. I mean, but we're going to go green here. We have a new leader. We have a new second place driver on this restart. We don't necessarily know what the restart's going to set up and what's going to play in as the green flag's back. Not the jump that we were used to seeing with William Smith as the race leader.
Not at all.
Didn't really get a good jump there. Tom Wetmore got a good run there. We're going to see a side-by-side battle. We're going to see the 51 potentially lead for the first time today.
And into the wall he goes, but he's still going to get the momentum. And, oh, you're right back. Maybe a slider going the other way. Oh, yeah, Slide Job City. That's what's happening. He's going to get into him a little bit, but he takes the lead back. This is good racing for the lead. This is what dirt racing's all about. This
is what we thought we were going to see coming into this race. Not with these two. I didn't necessarily picture Kolb and Wetmore as the dirt drivers here, but they've really put their cars in a good position here. This has been fun. This has been entertaining to see these two aggressive as caution flag is out. David Kolb still got the race lead, and that is or Riley Grant Davis there in the 24. It looks like he got spun around here on his own or got caught up in somebody else's mess. Nope, got caught up in somebody else's.
And that's a big hit to the inside pit wall. And we're back under yellow.
I guess since we're kind of under all these cautions, I'll send Josh Lee a picture of my paint scheme for Wednesday for the PRL. If this doesn't make you laugh, and if this isn't the most perfect fitting paint scheme to run at Talladega, then well, I don't know what you want at a Talladega, right? This is probably Team Whataback did a great job putting this piece with me, and I think if you and Tebben aren't entertained at the end of this race or during this race, I'm gonna come up and punch both of you.
That's fair.
Physically assault both of you.
I will be
if your references aren't on point. I need your references on point. I
need your racing to be on point.
I plan on winning the thing. It's Talladega. It's the only chance I have to win this season. I'm not going to lie to anybody out there that's watching. If you watch Wednesday night for the PRL, this is the only shot I have at winning. Every other week takes skill, and I have none of it. So
hey, I was. You could join the club of RealSimRacing winners at Talladega. You know I'm in that club.
Yeah, there we go. So
yes.
There's the car.
You're Cal.
I'm Cal, and I've got John Girard is going to be
Jean Girard.
He's going to be Doug Evans is going to drive the John Girard car, and our Jeff Evans, Doug Evans is going to drive the Ricky Bobby scheme. So we'll have all three schemes from Talladega Nights in the broadcast.
That is awesome. Love to see that.
Yeah.
Love to see that. You know, I feel like if you can get those, if we can get those references on point, I think there's no stopping you from second place.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean,
Cal Naughton, you know.
I mean, yeah. If Doug is in front of me, I will not move him for the win. Or Jeff. I mean, there's some of my best friends on iRace, and there's no way I'm wrecking a teammate.
Really sounding like a Cal.
I won't do it. I won't do it. I think that Tom Wetmore might wreck David Cobb for this win with 20 laps to go. Time's not going to be a factor either.
I mean, it really depends on how many green flag laps we've got. Not a really good corner from Tom Wetmore there. Agnell Phillip is trying to get back around William Schmidt. They're fighting for third. Wetmore up into the wall. Oh, some contact. Phillip.
Brett Pancari's looking.
Hey, could Brett Pancari get back into this battle? He started first. He won heat race number 1, and he's going to go down low and maybe get past Phillip here in the third. Look out.
Okay, he's trying to get the 2-for-1 deal like Wendy's does every morning for sausage biscuits. Not going to get the clearness there on Agnell Phillip for third. It'll push Brett Pancari still in that fourth position. They'll go into the corner. We'll see if Agnell can hold on here as Pancari.
Look how low.
Line. Yeah, he's all the way down in fresh dirt. They haven't seen anybody race down there except for Reckon.
Or did you just say the word? Did you just say the word wrecking? And it's Dinkelberger.
Well, I did, but I didn't think they were going to wreck.
I'm gonna label that's your first Yeah, I'll label it your first. I'm still up on the leaderboard with 3. Look at Farinas. And yeah, I don't think it's really Dinkelberger's fault right there. Dunkelberger, excuse me, his fault right there. I don't know. What's the longest green flag run we've had? 6 laps?
Something like that. It hasn't been a lot. I wonder where Evan's at right now. I don't know how fast nautical miles a plane goes, but
Cal nautical miles.
I'd imagine he's through Montana.
Alex Light in the YouTube chat provides his vote. No eNASCAR events at Dirt Bristol.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that'll vote that. I know.
By the way, great job. I know you can't see it on the broadcast, but we'll tell you about that. Josh Mendoza and Race Control making the executive decision to change the caution length so we can get as many green flag laps as we possibly can in this race. Not much of a need to get going.
Winnipeg. He's up near Winnipeg in Canada.
He's back in his home country.
Oh, Canada.
Aren't the Winnipeg Jets obviously in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now?
Yeah,
but
he's a Knights fan. So
but he's also a Canadians fan. Let's get that right.
But let's also not encourage him because he's. Yeah, no, let's not encourage him.
Montreal Canadiens, Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, he had the Canadians in the Cup final a few years ago. He had the Golden Knights in the final a few years ago.
Not encourage him.
And all I see are Stanley Cup final losses. Now, I say that knowing full well that my Philadelphia Flyers are straight garbage, and the Canadians are the most successful team in NHL history. So
listen,
you know,
I don't think I would be too nervous of trashing Evan's hockey team because Evan has some one-line zingers. But if you make his girlfriend mad on Twitter, she's mean. And she does not care about your feelings.
You know, Alex.
Josh knows she will hurt your feelings in a heartbeat.
Have you seen? So Alex was talking in the YouTube chat about his favorite team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who I despise with my ever-living being. And then Alex says Flyers. You know, laughing my.
Yeah. Well, at least the Penguins didn't make us. They didn't make the playoffs.
We're going back to. This is true. We're going back to green flag racing with 13 laps to go. Can we see this out to the end? David Cobb in the lead. Tom Wetmore second. Agnel Phillip a very fragile third position. Brett Puncari, he might be able to get underneath Phillip, and Wetmore slows down a bit. Phillip. Puncari, side by side.
Yeah, we'll see if they can actually hold this and continue.
Oh, Phillip in the wall.
There, Phillip gets the wall. We'll see if we can get any type of actual racing in here this afternoon.
A block from Phillip. It totally takes away Puncari's line.
Yeah, nothing there. Puncari's just chilling off there in that fourth place position, trying to get the run on anybody. He's trying to get around William Smith here for the moment, who's to the outside. We're going to come to 10 laps to go. This is 66. He's having some issues in caution. 27.
Woodruff again. Let's see what happened here. And Puller.
I feel like we've said these two names a lot tonight.
Oh! Yeah, nothing you can do there for the 27. Obviously, it's a case of wrong place, Gregory Shaw.
Wrong time.
Wrong time, and that's a lot of damage. Probably the most visual damage we've seen from any car in this race.
Yeah. Even for the meatball for Casto, it was not a whole lot. I mean, he was on and off pit road really quick, didn't even lose a lap.
Wow. Well, I do know.
This is the longest race I've ever been a part of.
This is a long broadcast. This is definitely a long broadcast.
We've been on the air for 2 hours.
We have, and you know
that's not over.
Usually 2 hours is where getting on air, you get off air.
Well, this is normally when I'm ready for a nap or a snacky snack, and I'm at a Goldfish. You know the snack that smiles back, right?
I'm not. I've had it up to here, Terry.
That's the one thing I pride myself on is crappy ad placement. I've got ideas here. If I come to Talladega and the Xfinity race does get rained out and I see you on Sunday, I expect a pack of Goldfish.
Okay.
That's all I care about. Okay. I want one pack of Goldfish. Just I know Colleague Racing can afford them.
Yeah, I think so.
That's all I care about. Now, I want them handed to me by AJ Allmendinger. I'm demanding a lot. I want AJ to sign the pack of Goldfish as I eat them and then look at me and go, thanks for eating Goldfish.
Thanks for eating Goldfish, and thanks for going back to green flag racing with 7 laps to go. I'm losing my mind with you, Terry.
I'm here for a good time, a long time.
Back to green flag racing with now just 7 laps to go in this 150-lap race. Could you imagine if it was the 250-lapper that the Cup Series ran in the real world? Can we go the rest of the way? That's a question that needs to be answered. Tom Wetmore currently sitting in second, watching, stalking David Cobb with 6 laps to go. We ride on board with Wetmore, trying to get everything he possibly can. These cars are fast. This track is the fastest it has been all night. A really good exit there for Wetmore, but just slightly better for Cobb on Throttle. Oh no, Wetmore's all the way up into the wall, into the fence.
I think he likes it up there. It's kind of been where he's put that car all race long. It's what got him up here to the P2 position. If you're Cobb, you've been in this spot. He was up front in his heat. He put himself in a position to transfer out here. But you see on the back deck lid here, the 51's throwing it in there. He's throwing caution to the wind. I mean, he's going to finish second. He's going to finish somewhere in the top 3. He's going to come talk to us.
You just gave me a scare when you said caution.
I didn't say that.
You said caution to the wind.
Yeah, well, whatever. I didn't mean it like that.
3 laps to go.
If Cobb makes a mistake here, Wetmore's all the way. He's going to be in his back bumper.
He definitely will be. Tom Wetmore trying everything he can possibly do to catch up to David Cobb. Oh, man, we're going to have it. It's Dunkelberger again.
We should have known it was going to a green-white checker.
And we should have known. It was the only way this race was going to end.
That's the only way. There's no other option.
And Dunkelberger, what?
He had it saved.
And then he just lost it. I have a feeling we're not going to. I have a feeling Dunkelberger is not going to be at Talladega. There's going to be a lot of suspensions handed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do not envy who has to make the post-race report.
Evan.
Hey, Evan!
Poor Evan.
If you're still watching...
We got to remember to save a replay for him.
Oh, that's true.
I think Josh is going to save the replay so he can go through and watch this. But be a lot of caution points being handed out if nobody held the C out there and claimed the caution. And it's first attempt. I think we have 3 green, white, checkered attempts. Yeah. So attempt 1, if the caution's called for 2 to go, we'll restart it again. If the white's taken, race finishes. So we'll see if we can complete 1 lap, then race it back to the end. But this is going to be the restart, man. This is going to be the restart.
This is all that matters. Yeah. Tom Wetmore's got to slide it in. And if you're David Cobb, you know what's coming. And you know what? If I'm David Cobb, I maybe say I'm going to take the inside just to prevent the slide job.
Well, we're single file still.
That's true. That's true.
If you're Cobb, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't play mind games with the restart, but I would be I would be a little bit childish on this restart.
Yeah, totally block it. Totally go down low and just window, like mirror drive. Absolutely mirror drive.
I would think maybe fake out like you're about to go and then don't. Like we've seen on the whole race, when the pace truck came off of pit road about 10 feet, he guns it. Maybe 5 feet gun it.
How about Michael Loraya?
Yeah.
We've talked about him much of earlier in this race at different points. He's up to 5th.
Sure is.
I mean, heck, he'll be on the inside. Or, God, there's... I keep forgetting.
Well, I mean, if carnage happens in front of him, he's in a great spot. I mean, you got Pancari right there. You got a lot of stories in this top 5 that has overcame adversity this afternoon, has found a way to rebound up their way to the front, a little bit more forgiving in this next-gen car.
Thomas George up 13 positions from 22nd up to 9th. 12 positions for Eric Stanford. What a race for him in the 19 car, up to 7th from 19th. Michael Johnson from 16th to 10th. Cody Harris has rebounded pretty nicely after a tumultuous day. By the way,
18 we're hearing was parked.
Yeah, man.
Dunkelberger got Dunkel parked.
All right, that doesn't work.
It could have.
I think we're going green flag racing for maybe the final time. Terry, 2 laps, 1 mile on the dirt at Bristol. Green flag in the air. David Cobb has the lead. The single file restart. Tom Wetmore is going to run the high line, but he gets way into the wall on the cushion. But that speed from getting tight up against the cushion keeps the momentum going forward. Wetmore tries to go up high again, gets into the cushion, comes down low. We're going to get the white flag one more time here at Bristol. David Cobb with the 4/10 advantage right now over Tom Wetmore. Wetmore's trying all he can do. It's just not seeming like it's enough. Cobb, 2 more corners to negotiate in the 99 Pure Sims machine. He is going to get the win. Yes, here at Bristol Dirt. David Cobb, immaculate all night.
4th lowest license in the field. Keep in mind that 4th lowest license in this field won this race. A non-dirt guy put a lot of practice in and came out here and won this race. He has a D license and he won it.
We got to talk about that. David Cobb to win this race out of all the controversies with all the cautions and the incidents, the black
he
flags.
Has a D license.
Okay.
But still not the dirt guy. You wouldn't label him as the dirt guy.
Right, but what I'm saying is that with all of the incidents, there was one consistent thing. David Cobb ran up there the entire night. He was the 6th fastest driver in qualifying. Just 2/10 off, under 2/10 from Cody Harris's fast time. And he made it work. I'll say one thing. We see that gap between Cobb and Wetmore. For just a split second, I thought Wetmore might have had a run coming off of turn 4, but he got way too up high, and he finishes 2nd in that Roadhouse Esports Chevrolet. Agnell Phillip rounds out the podium. Brett Punkari, 4th. William Schmidt. Michael Lariah finishes 6th. Thomas George, 7th. Michael Johnson in 8th. Andrew Farinas gets a 9th place finish, while Eric Stanford dropped a little bit at the end there, finishes 10th. Ross Cato, Cody Harris, Brandon Fetterplace, Nick Alford, Sam Nieto, Grant Davis, Richard Woolsfire, Carl Puller, Richard Woodruff, Gregory Shaw, your top 20, Andrew Phipps, Ryan Dunkelberger, Alex Light, Jaron Weinmaster, and Sean Casto. 45 laps down, rounds out your field. That race, this broadcast, so far, 2 hours, 10 minutes into it. It's been a long night so far, Terry.
Yeah, I think we're getting ready to talk to one of our drivers. I mean, we got 3rd place out there. We're waiting on our winner to come into the booth with us. We'll start with Agnell Phillip. He finished 3rd. Dylan, you want to grab 3rd?
Absolutely. Agnell Phillip in 3rd. Of course, multiple wins on the season. Agnell, I'm sure, I just saw your message in the Discord chat. What did you feel like this race, when it went green, was it fun?
That's a loaded question there, Dylan.
Say that.
I mean, it's always fun to compete. Dirt's, I'll be honest, not really my favorite thing to do. It's not something I'm particularly good at, and definitely getting eaten up on those restarts was not fun. But at the end of the day, it's competition. That's why we do this every week. So at a minimum, I'd say it was fun for that. The race itself, I could, if we never go back to Bristol Dirt again, I can't say I'd be super disappointed. But overall, yeah, it was a really fun race. I mean, big congrats to David. That was really impressive to see what he was able to do. It's always cool when we go to these kind of specialty tracks, like road courses and dirt, to kind of see who really shines there, and David really did there. So that was cool to see, and it was fun kind of watching him come up through the field there, because he didn't have it easy. So that's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely did not have it easy. It's his first ever full Throttle Cup Series win. We'll talk to him in a little bit, but Agnell, right before you go, you had a great run in that second heat. You won it. You started second. It felt like the top 5 were pretty much stable all night. Do you feel like really the top 5, if it stayed green for a longer bit, would have stayed that way? You were racing around them the whole night.
Yeah, I think, my teammate Cody, I think, had some pace. I think Drew always has pace. So those were 2 of kind of the notable folks who weren't there. But I don't know who in the top 5 you would have kind of subbed out for them, So I know Sean was up there for a bit and then had an issue, which was kind of unfortunate to see. It was fun battling him there for a bit. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't understand the rhythms of dirt racing, I guess. I'm not good on these restarts at all, and not particularly good at, kind of sensing what to do as the track's changing. I think, you saw in that first round that I had a lot of speed probably for that initial track. I actually thought I was better on like a worn track than I was on a fresh one, but I just didn't adapt to that, which is why William got around me. And then once you lose the lead, it's just, you're kind of just fighting for your life on every restart. And eventually I felt like I kind of figured it out. But yeah, I think if it had gone green there, you'd probably seen a very similar top 5, top 10. I think there was clearly, some folks who kind of knew what they were doing and trying to, were making pace. And there were others who were, maybe kind of like me the past couple of years, just kind of like coming in here and, seeing what'll happen. So, which I wasn't that far removed from that myself on this one. I think I've just generally gotten better since last year. I don't know. I've had a few more dirt laps too, but I've kind of felt a little weird to be up there. But yeah, no, there was some pretty stiff competition up at the front, I think.
Well, at the end of the day, for saying that you don't feel like you were that great, that fast, a podium is not a bad result. Congrats, Agnell. Best of luck at Talladega.
Appreciate it, Dylan. Thank you.
Not a problem. Let's get Tom Wetmore finishing second in here, and I believe he is with you, Mr. Radford.
Tom, P2 is not necessarily where you wanted to finish, but you put a really good job up there on the outside, smacking the boards quite a bit, but you had a lot of people cheering for you. What'd you need out of that car to get up there and win this thing?
Just wish the wall would get out of my way, maybe. I can't say enough about everybody obviously rooting for this Tube Tech 51 car. I mean, we tired of being a bridesmaid, never the bride on this one, and P2 again is awesome, but David was running a line through the middle of the slick there that we couldn't match, so we had to go hunting, Terry, and we were hunting the bottom, hunting the top, and found enough speed to get there, but the moguls up there were tough. Thought we were running a motocross track up there with the way the track came in, and unfortunately wasn't enough to hold the lead when we got by him there, and it made it tough with some late race restarts.
Well, Talladega's next week. You got an opportunity to go up there and get that done. Do you go in there with the mindset of you are going to win, or are you going to go in the mindset of I'll just kind of ride around, wait for the calamity to happen and figure it out?
Man, if you wait for the calamity to happen, you'll drive into it. So I'm going to be with the mentality I hope to be ahead of it. And fortunately, if it all goes wrong, I got Robin Steele attorneys at law to help protect this rig. So it's all you can hope for at Talladega is to bring home the steering wheel or checkered flag, and we'll go for one or the other next week. We got a good solid finish tonight, which hopefully puts us in a position to do just that next week.
I do love the fact that you made sure you threw in there the Robin Steele attorneys at law out there too. Normally you hear people talk about like Allstate or Geico or something, but you going to be aggressive next week, or are you going to go out there and just kind of be like relaxed?
Oh man, like I said, with that kind of protection on your ride, we're going to be aggressive. So looking forward, hopefully qualify up front and run inside usually if you're inside the top 5, you're safe. If you're inside the top 10 or top 20 or top 30, you're already writing off the car. So hopefully we'll be able to, the goal is to run up front. Otherwise, you're in the way for disaster at a place like Talladega.
Well, all right, man. Thank all those beautiful people on that Tube Tech 51 machine, and best of luck next week.
Yeah, it must not have had enough Tennessee orange on it, Terry.
That's true. Hey, every week.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, brother. That's Tom Whitmore, P3 Dillon. You got the winner, David Coleman at number 99.
Yes, I do. David Cobb, you just ran it better than anybody else. Take us through that first Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series win.
Oh, it feels great. It was really tough early to get into second, stay there, because Agnell would take the top every restart. So the guy that was in fourth would essentially be in second, running the top out of turn one. So no, we just hung in there. I mean, I kind of knew that I had the speed to get it done tonight, and I just kept pushing and passing cars, and finally got to lead and survived.
So I know that it might not have been a race where you had to battle every single second. You had some breathing time, but I feel like definitely by the last third of the race, you were really starting to get aggressive, really starting to throw it in there. Do you feel like Dirt, it deserves, first of all, it deserves to be in this series, and on top of that, you feel like, did you expect this result from you?
I think it's a fun change. I mean, it's like you're kind of battling the track, every lap, which I really like that. Aside from battling drivers, you're battling the surface and trying to, find the right lines and go fast. And, I'm a dirt guy at heart. I race sprint cars. So, I kind of hoped I could get one of these done. And, the dirt race is probably my best chance. So, I wouldn't say I expected it, but, very happy.
Well, congratulations on your first ever Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series victory. I'm sure it is going to be a fun rest of your night. David, best of luck in Talladega.
Thanks a lot.
Terry? I don't know, Terry. I was going to say something grandiose there. But I think while David's going to enjoy this very much, I definitely think this is the kind of race where the rest they're ready to go some plate racing.
Well, I tell you, I'm ready to see some plate racing, and shameless plug. What better place than to watch it tomorrow night? Michael Conti and the number 8 Junior Motorsports Machine's gonna be rocking it out there. Showed these muscles off real quick, that I can still lift myself up in the chair. But the E-Racer guys with Wendy's on there, great sponsor for Wendy's coming on board with the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. And this was not the best show for RSR. Let's call a spade a spade. Next week will be a little bit better. We'll see some drivers not on the racetrack. We'll see some new drivers, some new faces. We might see a couple Coke drivers return down here and run next week. It's just a shame that dirt racing is what it is. We're not going to get perfect every time, and unfortunately, it wasn't perfect tonight. But David Cobb getting his first win, you throw a lot of greatness on that he pulled his first one out. He's locked into the playoffs, so he can now throw caution to the wind the rest of the season, kind of learn some new stuff, figure it out, and we'll see what he can do at Talladega. Maybe go 2 for 2.
Yeah, that would be extremely impressive. The next round, the 8th race of the season, will be exactly 1 week from now, 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, I'm going to put down the gauntlet. Terry, I want to see you race and broadcast in that race. That's all I got to say.
No.
Hey, if I can do it and win a race in RSR, then you can do it too.
I don't know if Evan will let me, but if he does, I'll do it.
Well, Evan's, we hope that Evan's having a great time up in the air right now, somewhere near the North Pole, we think. We just don't know. The
Visit
whole...
Santa, I want a PlayStation.
Well, it was Bristol, baby. Just maybe wasn't as high octane as we thought. Nonetheless, we have a first-time winner in David Cobb. I am Dylan Coyle. Alongside me, Terry Radford, Joshua Lee in production, Joshua Mendoza in race control. We appreciate them as per usual. I think we'll be back here next week, Terry.
Yeah, I think it's us and Nolan Ripple. We'll can't wait to call Talladega.
It'll be a lot of fun. But that's it for us at RaceSpotTV. David Cobb is your winner. We'd like to wish you a good night and good racing.